Welcome. This is Tatt4Talk, powered by the Artistic Perspective Podcast. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe to both channels. I do appreciate the love and support. Now, I wanted to run down the premise of this show. I'm pretty much going to be asking my clients 5 questions. I might sneak in a 6th one, but mostly it's going to be 5 questions. Then I give them a chance to ask me a question. I wrap it up, show you guys the tattoo if it's done, and then we go from there. I'm your host, Tatt4, and let's dive right into it.
Just let a nigga know just watching. Just let a nigga know just watching. I know it may be harder than it seems. Just let a nigga know just watching me. Just let a nigga know just watching me. Just let a nigga know just watching me.
Okay, let's go.
What's up? This is the Artistic Perspective Podcast, and I'm your host, Tatt4. I have a new client with me, a good friend. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
What's good, y'all? It's your girl, Nick the Invoice, checking in live and direct. This is Tatt4Talk. I'm not one to gossip, so if you heard it from me, you know it's the truth. He is a professional tattoo artist. I'm a professional hype woman, and we about to get into it.
All right, we'll be right back.
At a tattoo party. Yes.
Normally,
In
a lot
Chicago.
of people freehand,
Like
freehand
script.
on people. Yeah,
Mhm.
Normally, if it's script, I like to try to if I can, if they give me the freedom of font, then I'll just do my own style.
Yeah.
But if they have their own font, I can duplicate it.
Right.
But
No.
sometimes you can just flow with the body a little bit more, other than a flat piece of paper.
Right. No, that makes sense. But it was like a needle, and I'm trying to remember because it was so long ago. I think I was like 22, so it was almost 20 years ago.
My first tattoo, the dude, he was straight out of jail, and he built his own machine.
It literally, I'm telling you, it
Yeah.
wasn't a tattoo gun.
And then my uncle,
Hey.
some clippers, a clipper motor.
I'm telling you, it was something
And
very
something else.
similar. Did it have a penny on it?
No, he had no penny.
His had like a penny or something
Yeah,
for
but
some
I'm
reason.
sure-
I
I'm
remember
sure.
like a penny, and I was like, "Is this for real?" It was like a sewing needle.
They have
and-
all different kind of ways that they do it for sure. The first tattoo machine was made from a doorbell. Yes, a doorbell.
a
Yes,
doorbell.
Exactly.
Do you have another?
Doorbells was a lot more extreme back in the day.
Right.
Though. They
No,
had
they
a lot
really
more
were.
shit going on.
Do you have another fancy program?
Oh
That's
yeah,
a
it's
fancy
definitely
program.
very dope. So you can scoot over a tad bit
Okay.
that way, but do still have that bit of an angle for yourself. Yeah.
Is that going?
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So now you know you're gonna have to be back to get that extra tattoo.
I
You know, after a
know.
while, you get addicted. So when you get back in the chair, you're gonna be
I
looking at
know.
that like, I
Well,
gotta get that flower.
the fact that
I gotta
I've
get that flower.
said this to multiple people, you know, and just even the hummingbird in general, and then sending you a couple different inspo pics, and you literally took the idea out of my mind. So
Well, I was happy I was able to, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get
Yeah.
with certain clients, but then, I'm normally able to kind of figure it out. And that's why I just tell people to give me references of what they
Right.
like. So I can because I can go a million different ways. I can
Mhm.
go realistic, all types of different ways. But, if you paint me in a direction, then I can
Right.
lower my ego a little bit. Okay.
Lower
let
your
me-
ego.
Well, in a sense of because no, I'm saying I
just
have
for
to
as an artist.
yeah, just humble my mind in the sense of I can't go crazy with everybody. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I've had a person come in and I want a portrait, but I just wanted line work,
Mhm.
just simple line. And I was it's so bad. I was no, I want to go realism, just let's do the portrait. They was like, no, I don't want that. I was like, I don't want to do that, but I'm like, all right. I gotta be cool. And we ended up doing it, and it turned out good. I liked it. All right, about to start. First poke is everything. You're gonna be good. We're gonna start on the wings.
Okay.
So.
It's so quiet.
Yeah, I know, right? It's different.
So quiet.
It's different. And then I ain't got no strings.
I know.
So this is the first line. Ain't that bad, huh?
Nah, it's not bad at all. I was being a punk.
So the first question we got is why are you getting this tattoo? What's the reason?
Oh, the significance of this tattoo. Yes. So because everybody can't see it just yet, maybe they saw the stencil being put on, but it's a hummingbird. And my dad passed away 20 years ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And they say it gets easier. That's not true. It does not get any easier. But hummingbirds for at least the last 12 years, I feel like have been a sign for me that everything's going to be okay. I feel like it's him coming to me, telling me that everything's going to be okay. I've seen hummingbirds in the most unconventional places.
And it's crazy.
Like I used to manage an event space in an industrial area in Phoenix, and I'm stacking chairs, these big plastic, not folding chairs, like the old school chairs that do not fold, right? And I'm throwing them, and there's a hummingbird fluttering by me.
That's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's crazy.
And it's the type of thing like you can't make it up. I went through my brother went through a very traumatic time because when we lost our dad, he was 15. And so there was a point where we needed to get professional help. My mom was in California. I had just had my daughter. I think she was maybe 6-7 months old. And my mom was working in California. So she worked like 3-4 days a week in Cali and would come home on the weekends. And my brother went to Boston, visited family, came back, and he just wasn't himself. And there's points and times where you need to help people, but you don't know how to help them. And you're just in this space of, like, I'm trying to tell my mom something isn't right. And there was one moment he called me. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I took my kids to my neighbor, and she's my best friend. Like, took them to her house and ended up cruising the streets in Montana at 3 a.m. looking for my brother because he was convinced that I was supposed to know where he was. I found him and, tried to get him to eat something. He had lost like 20-something pounds in a couple weeks. And it was just to the point where he said something to me. He said he was going to go to my mom's house, which was like a half hour away. And everything in me said, if you let him go, you will never see him again. So I actually had to take him to the ER. It was a whole thing. But I called my mom at this point at 6:00, 6:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I had to take him. And they admitted him on a 5150. And she went on lunch. She called me when she came back from lunch, and she said she saw this hummingbird as she's on her way to lunch, stuck in a shop. Bing, bing, like hitting the glass.
Crazy.
And on her way back, the hummingbird was outside of the glass. And so she calls me, and we're both like bawling because she was like, that's my baby. That was my baby inside stuck. But he got out. Now, 12 years later, I'm my brother didn't have it easy. He had two mamas growing up, so I don't blame him from wanting to get a little vacation. I'm just playing. But ever since that moment, anytime I'm in a space, and I'm not crying because it hurts y'all, I'm just tearing up because every time I'm in a space where I don't know how much more I have to give, I don't know how shit's gonna work out, I'm just like beside myself, I see a hummingbird. And it could be I'm sitting in the car and the hummingbird flutters across at a stoplight, like it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So speaking with you, I told you I've been wanting to get a hummingbird for the longest. Then I get on the interwebs and find out that there's actually significance in hummingbirds themselves. So when it comes to those who've crossed over, just that's their way of showing us that they're there and being present. And then in the Mayan cultures and a lot of different cultures, that's why I wanted to incorporate the tribal aspect into it. It's the signs of warriors, and there's lots of things. I always encourage everybody to do their own research, but when I actually looked it up, which I was just looking for the inspo pictures and found all of the writings and, the meanings behind the hummingbird itself, I was stuck. And then I sent you a couple inspo pictures, and then you created exactly what was in my mind. So,
like I said, I'm happy I was able to create the piece for you.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. It's just getting the design with a person.
Yeah.
Then everything else is downhill.
And I think, as creatives and entrepreneurs, it's always hard. Like you were saying, put your ego aside.
Mm-hmm.
In any form of business, the client wants what the client wants.
Exactly. And that's where I, like, in myself, like, I had to understand that with people. I was like, okay, calm it down, bro.
Right.
You can't just go crazy.
Right.
It's cool, though. This is the second question.
Okay.
I want you to elaborate a little bit more on your business. What do you do?
Ooh, I love that question. So as a professional hype woman, my services umbrella is creative consulting. So I do everything from marketing, business development, operations, logistics, events, event management, all of that good stuff, mainly with creatives and entrepreneurs to help them actualize their visions. I actually quit my very cushy salary job in March of 2023 as a single mom of 3. Oh, it's scary as fuck. We still here.
It's definitely.
We still here. We still here.
Definitely.
Multiple times a day I ask myself, did I do the right thing? But then I end up in spaces like this. I end up with nonprofits. I get a DM from somebody that I don't even know telling me that, just thanking me for the events that I've created, thanking me for shouting them out, thanking me for introducing them to another creative in the community. So it's scary, but I truly feel like I'm walking in my purpose at this point. For a long time, I always was in that space of why not me? Because I've been a conduit for a long time. I've been that generator for other people. I've connected with other people. Whether it's just telling them the truth, giving them like a true critique, or pointing them in the direction of a resource, or again, connecting them with another creative that I feel like there's alignment, could take them somewhere. I've watched a lot of people reach success who are in my direct orbit. So I've now come to the realization that that is my purpose. My purpose is to be that bridge. And through networking events, through working with nonprofits, through whatever, hosting whatever community events, and just connecting people, I've found a lot of fulfillment, which is why I left the corporate world to begin with. I just was like, this is not it. I don't know how many of y'all got a 9 to 5, but if you feel like you're going to jail every day, that is not it.
That is not it.
Like definitely. You clocking in for the parole officer every day.
Yeah, I had to get to that realization too. Mine was more so just like most of the shops out here, they want you in there like 12 hours a day, and that's half my fucking day. It's like, right. I'm not about, and then if I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting there. Like, no, I don't want to do that. If I have work, I'll be here. If not, I'm not. And then like I do travel a lot, so I'm gone for like 2 to 3 weeks, and a lot of shops is not for that. They like, nah, we need you here. Like, I make a lot of money. A lot of my money is back home. So I tattooed out there for 8 years. So.
Where's home again?
Wisconsin. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yeah, Milwaukee.
Hey.
But so a lot of my clients are back there, and like I can go back there for 3 weeks, make a lot of money, and then I can like slowly like gain my clientele out here.
Yeah. I love that.
But I've been in the shop just sitting there like all day, just and ain't getting no work, and that's like terrible. Like, bro, I would rather be at home if I'm gonna be sitting here.
Because when you're supposed to eat and sleep,
and if I'm not tattooing, I'm not getting paid.
Right.
So that's another thing too. Like, no, bro, you just taking my time to be in your place.
So what do you do outside of your tattooing? Like, what's your passion?
Art. I've been an artist all my life, so I make music.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I make music. I'm in the middle of making a comic book. I ain't gonna lie, I got a lot of things that I'm like in the middle of doing.
Look at the full alignment.
Yeah, so, but photograph, videography, but mostly music and tattooing. Mostly music and drawing.
I love it. Yeah, so the Hype Network itself has evolved a lot since March in the last 18 months. It really started as me doing like videography, BTS, that type of thing. And now I'm hosting, curating podcasts. I'm, like I said, hosting networking events. I'm collabing with other creatives in whatever capacity that, like whatever that looks like, just helping them to actualize their vision.
So I do want to piggyback off that question. So, but my question was, how many people do you think you've been able to help, and who was the most impactful and why?
Ooh, that's a really good question. That's a really good question. Okay, let me finish my original statement by saying, at this point, the Hype Network is a source for information, education, and resources. It didn't start as that. Like, I know you've probably heard the term, your net worth. Your network is your net worth. And so I kind of play around. I have a bunch of different mantras. That's obviously one of them. But it really just started with me connecting with people and being able to be like, oh, I know a guy. Because I could do a lot of shit. But I know people who that's their passion. That's their wheelhouse. That's where they make their bread, like, and that's their happy place. So why not, instead of me being quick to get a bag, like, oh yeah, I could do this for you, why not connect somebody to the point where now I have provided you with top-notch service, you know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna come to me for everything. But do you know somebody that? So how many people? I would say 2,000 plus, because that's how many followers I got right now. And that's like, my followers are real followers. It's not, they're not bots. The most impactful, every single one.
That's what's up.
Every single one. Everything is by design. So even the snakes, the rats, and the roaches that I have come into contact with, which I can count on one hand in this very moment, they have aligned me with people who I'm supposed to know. They've put me in places that I'm supposed to be. And my name is now being said in rooms where I haven't even stepped foot in yet. And I know a lot of that sounds cliche, but when you understand how much your reputation is really worth, and how much other people can affect that, in the sense of us being associated with each other. If you do bad business and I refer you, I do bad business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So once you understand really the weight of all of that, you really start to pick and choose and realize everybody can't go.
Exactly.
Because if you would have told me a month ago, you're going to be getting a tattoo while being interviewed the day after a short film that you were in was released, after, and then you going to, I would be like, yeah, okay. Whatever.
How is this happening? Look at that. Yeah, who's this little genie you got? Look at that.
But it's me. So fun fact, one of the companies that I used to work for that owned the event space, the parent company, we all had pseudo titles. My pseudo title was the genie.
Look at you.
So look at that. No, look at us. Look at us.
All right, so next question is, I want you to explain the gala a little bit for me.
Ooh, the 24 Community Gala?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so 24 Community is an amazing nonprofit. I actually connected with them. One of the first, the very first job that I ever did was for 24 Line, which is the apparel, the sister company. And I'm actually wearing them right now. Fun fact.
What? Oh, okay.
24 Apparel.
Representing.
Yes. So, because, I mean, we could all go online, we could shop, but why not support?
Shop with your people.
Shop with your people. Support. So the gala is amazing. I had a table and was a sponsor last year. Last year, draft night was their first year. This year, they're coming back so strong. We have another table, and I'm actually hosting red carpet interviews. So 24 Community, like I was saying, is a nonprofit. They give out, I think last year they did 5 $3,000 scholarships to high school athletes.
That's dope.
It's so dope. Outside of giving out the scholarships, they also host a Christmas giveaway. It was in South Phoenix last year. I think it started at 8 a.m. I got there at about 10:30, and the line was 4 blocks long. And they give out the toys until there's nothing to give.
That's crazy.
That's an amazing thing that they do. And then they also do a lot of other things throughout the year in collaboration with all of the 24 brand companies. So like I said, there's 24 Line Apparel. There is always Always 24 or Timeless 24 Studios, which is amazing. They have like a full podcast studio you can rent, obviously video, photography. They have different conference rooms. It's amazing. That's in the South Phoenix area. And then they also do 7-on-7. So 24 7-on-7. They have 24 sports media. But big shout out to Ruben. Ruben is a G, because he came here from New Orleans and really just put a footprint, created that footprint. That's as far as what does community look like? What does really coming together? Because, with sports, especially for our community, for a lot of the people who are underserved, and we deserve just as much, right? But the opportunity for us is, what you gonna do? You gonna rap? You gonna play sports? What you gonna do? They have entrepreneurial. What's the word I'm looking for? Like master classes that they host for free. Finance is all of that type of stuff. So the gala in itself is a fundraiser dinner where they have obviously the red carpet. You have your cocktail hour. There's amazing speakers, and then, like I said, they're awarding scholarships to high school athletes, very well deserving high school athletes. And then just creating that bridge once they go into that next level, whether it's college, pro, whatever, because 24 Apparel, they're in the space of doing NIL deals and all of that. Yeah, no, it's really amazing. And I'm sure
I love that for college students now, NIL.
Oh, it's so amazing.
Because these colleges was making so much money.
They was making so much money off of us.
And then not knowing if they're even going to make it to the league. So then if you don't make it to the league, then you don't even make that money. But they already made their money off you. They made
everything.
Now you just regular.
And I absolutely love that. I love it too, because it's to the point where, like you said, it was almost exploitation, right?
Because, not like slavery.
Come on.
Man, bro.
Come on. Talk about it.
Just speak on
Talk about it.
Because they felt some kind of way, even still to this day. Like right now, like how like the NIL has changed the college. Like they like, man, the owners and everybody, like they don't like that shit.
They hate it. But at the end of the day gonna end. They gonna have to get over it.
Yes.
That's one thing with this new generation.
Breaking down walls.
Come on now. For
getting
real.
It their own way.
For real. Like there's a lot of things. Obviously, I have an 18-year-old, so I tell him every day, this is my first time living September, what's today? 27th, 2024. So you got to give me a little bit of grace. But at the same time, like, if we want them to listen to us, we have to listen to them.
Yes, indeed.
That's where evolution, that's how we really evolve. That's how we learn, because the child is their imagination, their perspective, all of that is untainted and has no ceiling.
Yes.
So
yes,
it's the power's in collaboration, but a lot of it comes from collaboration within the different generations as well.
So the next question is, what was one of your favorite events you was a part of?
That's a good question. I mean, I've been a part of a lot of different events.
Yeah, but what's your favorite? What was going on there?
I'm gonna have to say, that's a hard question. I'm actually gonna say the very first event that I hosted in July was the Hype Social. That probably was my favorite event.
Why was that? What was going on?
So it was just a networking event, but because it was the first event that I hosted for myself, my company, it was just amazing to see that genuine support from everyone. Oh my gosh.
That's beautiful.
I think I advertised for it for a couple weeks. The first tickets sold out in less than 24 hours. I had to open up a whole nother realm of tickets, which was just beyond amazing. And then
I know that had to be something like, okay, you doing the right thing.
It was surreal. And then I think low key, it was a little overwhelming because I had people, coming up to me during the event. Even after the event, I'm getting messages about just thanking me for creating that space. So that is payment in itself, for lack of a better term. Like, I don't know, it's just so fulfilling to know that, to watch connections being made, relationships being built, to literally watch people elevate in front of your eyes. So I would say probably that up to this point. The Renaissance Awards, December 2025. Okay. That's going to be my favorite event once we actually get it, once it actually happens.
Okay.
And it will.
You've already started promoting for that?
Yeah, we haven't started promoting just yet. We've announced it.
Okay.
So all of the events that I am a part of, Hype is a part of, or co-hosting, supporting up until December will have some sort of correlation to the awards itself. So we're doing a film festival, we're doing an art festival, we're going to be doing music showcases. We were talking about podcasts, obviously, you know, like they, what is it? They have Webby Award. They have all these different awards, but for us, it's specifically going to be for our community here in Arizona, our creative community here in Arizona. It's flourishing. It's more than, I don't think people understand how much talent we really have here in the Valley.
Oh yeah, it is a lot.
It's wild.
You get to see it every first Friday.
It's wild. That's true. That's true.
You get to see a taste of it for sure. I love it. You get a little overwhelming out there with so many people, but I love being out there with everybody. And then like my social media goes down, and I'm like, all right, back in the house.
What's your like meter? Because I'm hyped. So
it's one event probably after like a week, if one event
a week.
Yeah, one good event I can do, and then like the rest of that week I'm cool like on being out and about. Like I'd rather be chill. All right, so last little question: what is your biggest lesson you've learned since parenthood?
Ooh. Oh man. Biggest lesson learned since becoming a parent would probably be, I don't know shit. Even if you think you know, you really have no idea.
I feel that.
I'm going to go back to the statement that I said earlier. This is my first time living September 27th, 2024, as a professional hype woman, as a single mom of 3. There's so many different variables that when you think you know, you really have to take a step back and curb your ego, curb that, not necessarily self-confidence, but really just allowing that inner child to flourish and lead the way as far as you really don't know anything. So it's never the wrong time to start over. It's never the wrong time to make a mistake. It's never the wrong time to take accountability. It's never the wrong time to learn something. And I'm sure we've all heard, like, you're never too old to learn.
No.
But we've also heard you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? So you got to be that inner child. Like, you got to let that inner child lead the way every single day. Because the biggest lesson that I've learned is I don't know shit. I don't. And I have to be okay with that. Being okay with that is going to get you where you need to go. It definitely is going to get you where you need to go, because everything that I think I know, there's somebody out there that knows more. And that kind of feeds into the network again, right? I could do a lot of things, but there's also people out there where that is their wheelhouse. That's their happy place. That's their passion. So why not connect them to that, so that now they've become a resource for you, a trusted resource for you.
Dope. All right, so this part, I'll let you give me a question.
Oh, I've been asking you questions the whole time.
You have, but now this is an actual question you can give me. This is that part of the thing.
So because we weren't recording, and I think that it is, I'm going to ask a couple questions that we already kind of went over, but I'm intrigued by the fact that you've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah. So
the question that we kind of went over is why? Like, what's your why?
So my why is being able to have walking museums all around. Always one of my art and museums. And once I kind of saw like took a step back from what I was doing tattooing wise
Mm-hmm.
and actually realized what I was doing, I was like, wait a minute, I have like a bunch of like canvases and you know what I'm saying, and
billboards.
Yeah, for myself to just to walk all around like, and so I do have my museum, and when I got that, it just was like it just fulfilled me with so much like passion and just like love for it that I just want. And then I also love that I'm always learning and always like always just like, and because I am eager for information, so like you know what I mean, even when I'm like doing a piece like this, a hummingbird, like when someone explained the background of it or something, like it'd be stuff that I don't know, or like I know a lot of flowers that back in the day I wouldn't even know the names of them, but now I do, or I like religions or all type of stuff just because of tattooing, stories and all that. So I love that like every piece is a story and every piece just like has so much to come from it, and then it's a part of me, and someone letting me be a part of them
and their story. I love it. Yeah, we're all students of the universe.
Yes.
Some of us just would rather be the teacher, but you can't teach the universe. You can't teach the universe. I love it. What's the most? Actually, I had another question, and it went away. Hold on. Oh, what's your like big picture perspective? Because you have the walking museums, but
so I want to retire in Africa. I want to have an art school out there and just teach American art. So that's what I want to do.
I love it.
Retire in Africa.
And what's the most interesting thing that you've learned from tattooing? Like, because you mentioned religion, flowers. What's the funnest fact?
I have to think about that. Let me hold on. Let me break that out.
And for those of you who don't know, he's been doing this for 15 years. So
part time, give and take. No,
I don't know why people always try to be modest around me, y'all. We just had a whole ass conversation prior to the cameras coming on. Now he want to be modest.
I do not know what could be the biggest thing I'll probably learn. I think like the most essential would probably be like just understanding people's bodies. And that everyone can't like not everybody is able to take the same thing.
Pain threshold.
Yeah. So like it definitely got me to like understand like sometimes I know when a person is about to faint. I know when that's coming on. Like certain things that I learned. It was like, I've had some fainters. I probably had.
What about bleeders? Have you had more bleeders or fainters?
Well, the bleeding is not too crazy. It's more like faint is the I probably had like probably 10.
Okay, that's
fainters.
Not bad.
I ain't had a lot, but normally it's just like they either just like worked up or just like they either get up too quick. Sometimes that a million different ways, or they just stomach just not working with the mind and everything that's going on. So so that's why we always tell people like make sure you eating something or have something on your stomach. Don't come in on an empty stomach. So I think that's definitely it. So this part, I'm gonna have you speaking to the camera to finish out.
Okay.
This platform is for we want to empower the youth and entrepreneurs. So if you have anything you want to say to them, speak to them right now.
As entrepreneurs, we tend to have blinders on. We are hyper focused on that goal, that big picture perspective. I really encourage you to find a space where you are comfortable to be transparent. Transparency equals vulnerability, so it's not going to be easy, but find that space, find that tribe, find that village to the point where you can take those blinders down and really recognize that low-hanging fruit around you, because there's a lot of opportunities that you might be missing out on because you are so hyper-focused on what you want, when what you want might actually be what that person sitting next to you might be very parallel and aligned with what they want. And finding that space where you can be transparent and really find like I said, find that tribe where you can collaborate. Come on, the powers in collaboration, elevation, and remember, you don't know shit, and ain't nothing wrong with not knowing shit. That just means there's more shit to learn.
Yes, yes. Well, appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna finish this tattoo and then we'll get back to you guys.